1. Introduction. My name is Beatrice. I woke up today, but the house was very quiet. It felt too quiet. I called for my grandma. Her name is Sylvia. I called her name again, but there was no answer. I looked for her. I went to the kitchen. Her phone was on the table. This was strange because she usually took her phone with her. I saw something else was missing. Her favorite red lipstick was not there. She always had it with her. I looked around the kitchen. On the counter, there was a small piece of paper. It was a note. The note was short. It only had 4 words. It said, "Be happy for me." S. The letter S was for Sylvia, my grandma. My heart started to beat very fast. It was beating like a drum. I read the note again. "Be happy for me." What did this mean? My grandma was not here. Her phone was here. Her lipstick was gone. She left a note. Suddenly, I understood. My grandma was not here because she was gone. She left the house. My grandma ran away. I could not believe it. Why did she leave? Where did she go? The house was still very quiet, but inside me, everything was loud. My thoughts were racing. This was the beginning of something new, something strange. My grandma, Sylvia, was gone. She left me a note asking me to be happy for her. But how could I be happy? I was confused and a little scared. My quiet morning was now full of questions. I stood in the kitchen with the note in my hand. The house felt empty without her. She was not just gone for a walk. This felt different. This felt like she left for a long time. Why would she do this? Who would she be with? Was she okay? These thoughts came quickly into my mind. I looked at the note again. Just 4 simple words, but they changed everything. My grandma ran away. 2. A man's name. I needed to understand more. I went to Grandma's bedroom. I opened her big closet. Many of her clothes were not there. Half of her dresses and shirts were gone. Her red suitcase was also missing. This showed she planned to leave. She took things with her. I looked around the room again. Maybe there was something else. Something that could tell me where she went or why. I looked on her table and in drawers. Then I saw something. It was under some books. It was a photo. I picked it up. I had never seen this photo before. Grandma was in the picture. She was smiling a big smile. Next to her was a man. He was tall and looked handsome. He had dark eyes. He had pictures on his arms. These were tattoos. Grandma looked very happy with him. I turned the photo over carefully. On the back, there was writing. It was a name. The name was Ronald. I looked at the photo again. I looked at Ronald's face. Then I looked at Grandma. He looked younger than her, much younger. This man, Ronald, was important. Was he the reason she left? I held the photo of Grandma and Ronald. My mind was full of questions about this man. 3. My family is angry. I told my parents about Grandma. I showed them the note she left. My mom was very angry. She shouted when I told her. She said, "She left us for a man." She could not believe it. She also said she is 55 years old. For my mom, a woman of 55 should not leave home like this. My dad was in shock. He did not shout, but he looked very surprised. He sat down slowly and just looked at the note. He kept shaking his head. He could not understand it either. They both looked at me, asking questions with their eyes. They did not understand why Grandma would do this now. They thought it was strange and wrong. My mom walked around the room. She was very upset. She kept saying, "I don't understand." She thought Grandma should stay at home. She thought Grandma was too old for this kind of thing. My dad slowly started to ask questions. "Where could she go?" he asked. "Who is this man?" We did not have many answers. The house felt different. It was quiet again, but not in a good way. It felt heavy with anger and worry. My parents talked to each other loudly. It felt like a storm in the house. I sat and listened. I felt small. I did not want them to be so angry. I wanted them to understand Grandma, but they could not. They only saw a problem. They saw their mother leaving them. They saw a woman acting in a way they thought was wrong. They only saw the fact that she left, and that she left for a man they did not know. This made the anger worse. They asked me if I knew anything more. I told them I did not know much. I felt many things myself. I felt sad because Grandma was gone. I felt curious about why she did this. I felt strange about the whole situation. I wondered who this man, Ronald, was. Was he a good person? Was Grandma safe with him? Was she really in love, like her note seemed to say? Or was she in some kind of trouble? These questions were in my head. My family was very upset. The anger from my parents was strong. They talked about what people would think. They talked about Grandma's age again. They felt hurt and confused. Their anger was mixed with sadness for themselves, but my sadness was for Grandma. I worried about her, but I also wondered if she was finally free. The house was full of this difficult feeling. It was a day of anger and worry for my family. And I felt alone with my thoughts about Grandma and her secret. For I look for her. I felt I needed to do something. Sitting at home was not right. My Grandma was somewhere, and I wanted to find her. I made a decision. I would go and look for her myself. I went to my room. I took a small bag. I put some clothes inside, just a few things. I put in a toothbrush and some money. It was not a big bag, just enough for a short trip. I closed the zipper. I told my mother what I planned to do. She did not like my idea. She said, "Beatrice, don't do this. It is a waste of time. Where will you look? You won't find her." She was angry and worried. My father did not say much, but I saw he was worried too. But I knew I had to go. I felt it strongly in my heart. I remembered something my Grandma told me a long time ago. We were talking about places she loved. She said, "If I ever disappear one day, Beatrice, look for me at the coast." At the time, I thought it was just a strange thing to say. Now I thought maybe it was important. Maybe she meant it. So I decided to go to a city by the sea. I went to the train station. I bought a ticket. The train was big and long. I found a seat near a window. I watched the houses and trees go by. The train went fast. I thought about my grandma. Was she okay? Was she happy? After some hours, the train stopped. I was at the coast. I got off the train. The air felt different here. It was cool and it smelled like the sea, like salt and water. I took a deep breath. This was the place. This was where I needed to start looking. I walked out of the station. I did not know this city. It was new to me, but I had a purpose. I looked around. There were buildings, shops, and people walking. I could see the water not far away. The sea was blue and big. I started to walk towards the sea. I needed to find my grandma. I did not know how I would do it. I did not have a plan, just this idea. Look at the coast. So I walked and I looked. My search for her began here by the water. 5, I find the hotel. I was in the city by the sea. It was a new place for me. I walked along the streets near the water. The air smelled of salt and the sea birds made noise. I felt a mix of hope and worry. I wanted to find Grandma Sylvia. I knew she loved the coast, so maybe she was here. I started to look around. I went into some small shops. I talked to people who worked there. I asked them questions. "Hello," I said to a woman selling postcards. "Excuse me," I said to a man sitting outside a cafe. I showed them the photo of Grandma with the handsome man, Ronald. "Do you know this woman? Her name is Sylvia." "And this man, Ronald?" I asked many people. Some people looked at the photo and smiled. Some just shook their heads no. It was not easy. I walked for a long time. My feet were starting to feel tired, but I did not stop. I remembered Grandma's words. If I disappear one day, check the coast. I felt she was here, somewhere near the sea. After asking many people, a kind old man in a fishing shop said something helpful. He thought for a moment. Then he said, "Maybe the Pink Hotel?" A beautiful couple came there a few days ago. The woman had bright eyes and a big smile. A pink hotel, near the beach. That sounded like a place Grandma might choose. My heart felt lighter. I thanked the man quickly and walked in the direction he showed me. Soon I saw it. A small building painted a bright, happy pink color. It was very close to the beach. I could see the sand and hear the waves from the street. This must be the place. I walked to the door and went inside. It was a quiet place. There was a small desk. A woman was sitting there. She looked friendly. I walked to the desk. "Hello," I said. "I am looking for my Grandma Sylvia. Is she staying here?" The woman at the desk smiled. It was a warm smile. "Oh yes," she said. "Sylvia and Ronald, they are here. A very beautiful couple they are. They are in room number 5. She looked happy when she talked about them. Room number 5. My hands felt a little shaky. I thanked the owner and walked towards the stairs. I went up slowly. Each step felt heavy. What would I see? What would I say? I found the door with the number 5 on it. I stood there for a moment. My mind was full of thoughts. Then I raised my hand. I took a deep breath and knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. The door opened. A man was standing there. It was him, Ronald. The man from the photo. He was tall and strong. He had dark hair and dark eyes. He was not wearing a shirt, only dark trousers. I could see the tattoos on his arms. He was very handsome, just like in the picture. He looked surprised to see me. His eyes looked at my face. He looked for a moment, maybe trying to understand who I was. Then he spoke. His voice was not loud. He said, "You must be Beatrice." 6. Grandma is different. Ronald stood in the doorway. He looked at me and said my name. Then I saw her. My grandma, Sylvia, came to the door. She was wearing a beautiful robe. It felt like silk. The color was soft and light. She looked at me and her face had a big smile. Her eyes were bright. They seemed to sparkle like little lights. She looked so happy to see me. She opened her arms wide. "Sweetheart, you found me," she said. Her voice was warm and full of joy. I ran to her and gave her a big hug. I held her tight. I wanted to cry, but I also felt happy. I was so worried about her, but here she was. When I looked at her again, I saw she looked different. She looked much younger. Maybe 10 years younger. Her skin looked fresh, and her cheeks were pink, like she had been outside in the sun. She smelled nice too, not like her usual perfume, but something sweet, like jasmine flowers. She looked so alive, so free. It was not the grandma I knew from home, who sometimes seemed a little tired or quiet. This grandma was full of energy. She pulled back a little but kept her hands on my arms. She looked at Ronald, who was standing next to her. He looked at her too. He had a smile on his face and his eyes were kind. He looked at her like she was something special, like magic. Grandma looked back at me. Her smile was still big. She said, very simply, "We're in love." She looked at Ronald again and then back at me. "I've never been happier," she told me. Her words were quiet, but they felt very strong. I saw the truth in her eyes. She really was happy, more happy than I had ever seen her before. This woman in the silk robe, with sparkling eyes and pink cheeks, was my grandma, but she was different. She was new. 7. Ronald's story. We all sat on the small balcony. The sun was going down over the water. The sky was turning pretty colors, orange and pink. It felt warm and nice there. I looked at Grandma and then at Ronald. He looked kind when he was with her. He started to speak quietly. He told me about his life before. It was a difficult life, he said. He was not a good person for many years. He made mistakes. He said he was a bad boy. He did things that were wrong. He even went to prison for some time. He rode motorcycles and sometimes got into fights. His life was fast and not calm. He did not feel happy inside for a long time. He thought his life would always be like that. But then he met Sylvia. He said that meeting Grandma changed everything for him. He looked at her when he said this. His eyes showed that he meant it. He said she made him a different person. She made him calm when his mind was loud. She made him want to do good things. She made him laugh every day. He said her laugh was like music. He told me the story of how they met for the first time. It was not a special place, just a simple cafe in a town. He was carrying a cup of hot coffee. He was not looking where he was going. He bumped into her. He spilled the hot coffee. It went all over her dress. I thought she would be angry. But Ronald said she was not angry at all. She did not shout. She did not look upset. Instead, she just started to laugh. A big, happy laugh. Ronald said he was surprised. He had never met anyone like her before, someone who could laugh when coffee was spilled on her. He said in that moment he knew she was special. That was the start of their story. He smiled when he finished telling me. Grandma took his hand. I listened to his words. I started to understand more about them. It was not just a simple story. It was about two people whose lives changed when they found each other. I could see that Ronald really loved my grandma. And I could see that she loved him very much too. Hearing his story helped me see their connection. It helped me understand why she left. It was not running away from her old life. It was running towards a new, happy life with him. I felt less worried after hearing him speak. He seemed like a good man now because of her. 8. A new kind of love. I stayed with Grandma and Ronald that evening. It was a warm night by the sea. We had dinner together. We ate fish and chips from a small shop near the beach. The food was simple but good. After we finished eating, we decided to walk along the beach. The sun had set, and the sky was dark blue with bright stars. Grandma and Ronald held hands as we walked. They talked quietly to each other and laughed. They looked at each other often with soft smiles. It was clear they were very happy together. They seemed like two young people in love for the first time, not a woman of 55 and a man of 39. As we walked, they started to move slowly to the sound of the waves. It was like a simple dance on the sand. I watched them. At first, seeing them like this felt strange to me. It was so different from the grandma I knew at home. My parents were so angry about her leaving for Ronald. They thought it was wrong because of their ages. But being here, with them, I started to see their love in a new way. Their love felt very real. It wasn't strange anymore. It was just love. Their connection was deep. It wasn't about how old they were. It was about how they felt together. Grandma was so happy, her eyes bright, her smile wide. Ronald was calm and kind when he was with her. This happiness was what mattered. After my visit, I had to go back home. My mom was still judgmental about Grandma's choice. She couldn't understand it, but I could. I told my mom, Grandma is alive again. This trip taught me something important about love. Love doesn't have rules about age. It doesn't care what other people think. It is simply a feeling between two people. I was happy I came to find Grandma. I didn't ask her to come back home. I understood now why she left. She found a new kind of happiness, a new kind of love with Ronald. And I was truly happy that she was free to live her life this way. Seeing her so full of joy showed me that love can be surprising. It can make you feel young and brave. Grandma and Ronald's story was different, but it was also beautiful. I learned that love is about connection and bringing happiness. It's not about numbers. Seeing Grandma so happy was the best thing. This trip changed how I thought about love forever.